Recently, a group of legislative staff who work with Louisiana's congressional delegation traveled across the state to learn about issues Louisiana farmers are facing. One of the major issues that farmers and rural residents face is the lack of broadband internet access. That's why Vineeth Iyengar with Connect LA was in this meeting in Iberville Parish.
The problem that our office is tasked to do is to solve the digital divide by 2029. So when we think about the digital divide, we're thinking about not only just an access issue, but an affordability issue and a digital literacy issue. For the first time in a long time, the state of Louisiana really has the destiny and the federal resources that are going to be focused on addressing this problem in all three ways, and we will solve this problem by 2029.
Iyengar says the first step to achieving these goals is to help individual parishes understand their need for broadband. He says that will help the state to distribute resources in the areas they are most needed. That happens through the state's grant program called Gumbo.
And that program is going to be designed to focus on addressing the access issue, the infrastructure issue. So the application period will be opened in October. We expect to make awards in January, February of next year.
That money is going to companies that will partner with those parishes to address their lack of access to broadband internet. The meeting was not just for staffers and stakeholders from the state and local governments. There was also a farmer in the room to tell his story of his need for broadband internet at his home. Patrick Frischhertz is a sugarcane farmer near Plaquemine. He says the pandemic made his lack of broadband internet a really big problem for his wife's ability to work from home.
Because of COVID-19, they're trying to keep as many people out of the hospital as possible. And she's a radiologist, so she's reading scans. So they're trying to put a system in our house that would allow her to read the scans in our house and be able to report back to the hospital without having to be there. However, without adequate internet, we won't be able to service that scan, the scanner or the monitor. So we're possibly facing the issue of having to move into Baton Rouge, somewhere a little bit closer with more reliable internet. We live right off the farm, we love living there, and we don't want to necessarily move, but because of the job issue with that, we possibly could.
Frischhertz says meetings like this are crucial for progress to be made in this area, and he's optimistic that change is on the way.
To know what's happening and to know where we're going with this in the future. And it's exciting for someone who lives in a rural environment to see that we might have viable access to high-speed internet in the upcoming years.
What we want to do is we're having conversations with, of course, the Farm Bureau, with companies like John Deere, with other companies like AT&T and Lumen and others to try to really address what those challenges are first among farmers, and once we've identified those challenges, what we need to do to get them broadband in a very cost-efficient, timely manner.
Iyengar explains that it's not just farmers and ranchers who are in need of good internet. According to Connect LA, there are almost 450,000 Louisianians without broadband internet availability in their home. To learn more about the efforts of Connect LA and how to help bring broadband to your town, head over to our website at twilatv.org. And Kristen, it's one of those things that growing up I experienced, I'm sure you did too also in Ouachita Parish, but it's one of those things in Baton Rouge now I don't really think about, but it's still a thing that people are dealing with, this struggle to internet.
You know this subject is quite close to my heart.
A little bit of a soapbox you might get on sometimes
yes.
with this. But
You better get me off of it because I'm about to get on it.
What have you experienced though in your time just living where you do now?
Well, it was something that living in Baton Rouge for so long and never was a problem in Ouachita Parish, but you don't think about it until you don't have it.
It's 2021. How is this still a problem,
yes,
right?
Yes, you hear so much about people. Before we moved, and I experienced the problem of not having any type of internet available other than satellite internet. Mm-hmm. Before, you hear people talk about it and you go, well, it's 2020. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a wide swath of the population.
Right. And farmers especially are using all of this technology. They're using internet for their farms and their operations at home, and even just quality of life at home. And that's what Patrick was talking about in the story. So hopefully it's something that's addressed and fixed here in the next decade, maybe. That's the hope, right?
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you bringing this story to everyone's attention. So hopefully maybe we can get something done about it. So great story, Karl Wiggers.